Sometimes detail work in casting can be pretty difficult because you need to heat up wax to make it workable, but this is a handy tool that can really get the job done. Before I start, hit that subscribe button in the bottom of your screen. This year I plan on putting out a new video every week. Today I want to talk about using a soldering iron. This is a handy tool for all sorts of craftsmen and artists. I'm going to be using it for wax, and I'll show you exactly why I'm using it and how it works today. This is a starter kit soldering iron set. You can get this off Amazon.com. I did put the link in the description below, my affiliate link. Started the affiliate thing, so if you get one, I make maybe a couple bucks, if that. Helps me out though. If you guys want to order anything through the links I put in the descriptions. So this is a starter kit. Actually, this is something that you'd find in like the hobby section of a store because it is for beginners. Now you could use something more of an industrial grade, but for what I'm doing, I don't need a heavy-duty soldering iron because I'm not really soldering metal. I'm just going to be melting wax with precision though, okay? And I'll show you how that works here in a minute. So let's go ahead and open this up. This is it's called Amerikit Soldering Toolkit. Wasn't too expensive, it was like 20 bucks. It also has some booklet that teaches you how soldering works if you're interested in reading that. But I assume everyone watching today has probably heard of this tool. That's probably how you found the video, or you're probably familiar with it. One of the most important things in this kit is this little metal stand. It comes flat, but you just bend that little piece upward. You need to have this because the soldering iron gets very hot on the end there. I'll just show you everything that comes with this kit in case you're interested. I won't be using any of this stuff because I'll just be using the soldering iron for my little wax sculptures. But it does come with the coil, some wire, and then I'll show you here this pump. This is a solder sucker, I think it's called. I don't really see any use for this here in my shop, but I just wanted to show you that it does come with all of this stuff. Just make sure you're very careful with these tools while you're using them because they can start fires very easily if left unattended. This doesn't come with the kit, but this is very handy, a little lighter like that, because as you know, wax is very hard. You can hear it there. It's like hard as a rock, so sometimes you need to heat that up if you want to work with it. And as long as you're careful here and don't burn your fingers, you can kind of heat up the edges of the wax. See some of it melted there. And even though one side of it's still hard, you can smush that hot wax together with the cold wax, because only one side is going to be hot if you're holding it. Using the lighter, I'll show you how if I carefully hold the hand, I can just barely heat up the end of that stub that's supposed to be the finger, but I didn't have air channels to get the wax all the way down there, so I'm rebuilding the fingers. You can see it's soft and workable on the end. Okay, but the rest of the hand is still rock hard. So what I want to do is I want to build up those fingers and kind of sculpt them with the wax. You just need to be able to melt the ends together while you're fusing them, or fusing the fingers back onto the hand. Here I'll demonstrate how it works. And this is where the soldering iron really comes into play. While you're watching this, I want you to think of this as welding almost, except I'm not working in metal. I'm here in the sculpture studio trying to heat the ends of these little tiny fingers with those stubs on the hand so that I can fuse them together, because that wax just turns to liquid with the slightest touch of the soldering iron. But you can see how it's soft there even when it starts to cool. So I can kind of work that finger into place, then I come back up around the fuse point, or connection point I mean, where I put the finger back on, and I sort of just touch up a little bit. And you have to be really careful with this and just use very light touches with the tip of that soldering iron because it's so hot. I do want to reiterate, leaving that soldering iron on its little metal stand, even if you're not sure if it's on, I always leave it on the stand and I always unplug it if I'm not using it because it's really easy to start fires. Here you can see how I added a little bit of wax. So I just took a little tiny sliver. You could almost see through that little sliver of wax, and I just put it on that finger and heated it up so it melted and it kind of ran down the finger. I'm just cleaning it up there, a little bit of excess wax. Have my little rake sculpting tools handy. Come back in and a little bit more finishing work and just touching up. It's really hard to get that just how you want it because the details are so tiny. I mean, this hand is even smaller. This is a female hand. It's supposed to look real petite, so to speak, if you want to call it that. And I'm just barely melting the ends of those little wax pieces so that they stick together like that. And then I go back in and touch them up a little bit. You can use the soldering iron on clay too, but clay's a lot softer, so it melts through the material a lot quicker. I mean, this wax is pretty hard stuff. You know, it's like a candle, basically, is same hardness, and just a little tap of that soldering iron will just melt it to liquid on the surface. It cools very quickly, though. See, I can use my rake tool like right after I had melted the surface of the wax, but once it cools, it's very hard to carve into it with any proper sculpting tools. So I might heat it up again like so, and then come back in and use the tool, or sometimes I'll just use my hands and I'll try to smooth things out and move them around a little bit. Because if the wax isn't malleable, you're just going to break it. It'll just snap and shatter into pieces, and you don't want that. When working in wax, the soldering iron really takes an artistic touch. If you've never used one before, you might find that owning one is very useful. So I put that affiliate link in the description below. You're welcome to click on that and check one out if you like. If you found this video useful, hit that thumbs up, like button down below, and hit subscribe too if you're not subscribed to my channel and you like this type of content. I'll be putting out more tutorials and videos on art throughout this year. That's it for now. I will see you all next week.